Hello. Welcome to Earth School. Today we have a beautiful lesson on something that is really important for people of all ages. And that lesson is privacy is sacred. We're going to be going over the 3 principles to use when talking to anyone outside of the family. And we're also going to watch a video about the word discretion and discernment and judgment. We will have a conversation about those 2 words as well. This topic is so crucial to be able to master. It is not always easy, especially for people who have a very bubbly and extroverted personality. Privacy is something that can be difficult because your natural tendency is to share with others. But it is really important out of protection for your own self and out of protection for your loved ones and those you care about that you always employ discernment. Privacy. Now, what does that word mean, discernment? Well, we'll get into the vocabulary list. And if you haven't already, go ahead and in the link below in the curriculum, print out your sheet for the Privacy is Sacred packet. This is the first time we have referenced this one within the curriculum. So you probably have not printed it out yet, unless you're like some of the students who went ahead and printed everything out in the beginning. So if you need a moment to pause, go ahead and do that and come back and join us for the rest of the session. We're going to start class today by watching a video on the word discretion. This is a very funny and creative explainer video that I am very much looking forward to watching again. So without further ado, discretion.
Conversations are probably the most important but also delicate way we communicate with each other. What we say and how we say it affects a lot of what we intend to mean. You probably grew up with a mom or dad or any adult telling you that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all, or think before you speak. Well, essentially, that's what discretion is. Actually, if the only thing you have to say might come off as mean, be a little careful with your wording. Yes, that top makes you look thick. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love you. Don't hurt me. We're late because you're slow. But I like to live by an old saying in Sufism. Before you speak, you should let your words pass through 3 different gates. Is it true? Is it kind? And is it necessary? And this has helped me a lot with interacting with other people. As kids, we didn't really think about what we said. It was usually just word vomit where we played ignorant to what they meant or the impact they had on those who received it. Like those kids who retaliate to their parents disciplining them, saying things like, "I hate you, Mom," and "I'm gonna run away," or some bullshit empty threats. Look here, privileged 10-year-old. I'm sorry you got your Xbox taken away because you prioritized it over your other responsibilities, but you'd probably die out there after a day without your parents, let's be honest. Like, if you're gonna run away and you meant it, you just do it without announcement. Like, if someone kidnapped you and held you for ransom and they went to the kitchen for a few minutes, you're not gonna be like, "Hey, I hate you. If you don't set me free, I'm gonna run away." If you have the opportunity, just fucking run. Okay, maybe not a good analogy. Don't run away, kids. You'll get your Xbox back. Your parents did pay for it after all. Anyway, yeah, discretion. I come by a plethora of people who don't exactly think about what they say before it leaves their ugly mouth. People often get carried away with their sense of freedom of speech and disregard the consequences of their words or actions and fail to display the empathy needed for us to understand each other. Just because you can say it doesn't mean you have to. Again, is it true, is it kind, and is it necessary? If it fails any of these, you might want to reconsider letting it pass through. But if it still manages to force its way past the gates, maybe don't be surprised if nobody likes you. You know? A couple of months ago, I went to Crunchyroll Expo. Use crunchyroll.com/domics for 14 free premium days. And I was hosting a panel on one of those days. I brought a few of my friends on stage, Lily Pichu being one of them. We held a Q&A session, and this kid comes up and says to Lily, "Your brother's better than you at League of Legends," and then walks away. On another occasion, I was walking around with my girlfriend at a convention. She was cosplaying a character. All of a sudden, a random ballsack of a dickhead comes up to her and says, "Insert another character from the same show, is better," and then continues walking. Why? Why did those two think that was a good use of his and our time? Was it nice? No. Was it true? Can't confirm. And even if it was it necessary? Hell nah. I think this new generation of adolescents think there's actual merit in being what they call savage as they bask in their 2.5 seconds of glory. It's not savage, guys. You're gonna die alone. Obviously, it's unrealistic to have our words go through all of the gates every time we speak, but over time you kind of get the hang of it. You find out which things are appropriate per scenario. Scenario? Is it scenario? Scenario? Whatever. I, for one, usually add in another gate. Is it funny? Because that's the nature of my work and my outlook in life. Some things are unnecessary, but I find them humorous. Sometimes it's funny because it's unnecessary. But you gotta be tasteful about it. Someone nearby might make a funny noise and I might laugh at it. It was neither true, kind, nor necessary, but I found it funny. That kid who asked the question, not funny. It wasn't even a question. I mean, he got a uniform reaction from the audience, but we all could have lived without having that be a part of our day. We laughed it off, though. Not a "that was funny" laugh, but more of a "yo, can security escort that kid out of here so the person beside them can have more legroom" kind of laugh. He was just a kid. Discretion and empathy is something you develop as you age. As kids, we just went about and said whatever the hell we wanted and not gave a shit about what other people thought because, hey, freedom of speech, right? If you get offended or triggered, well, you're too sensitive and you just have to deal with it, right? If I can be an asshole, then I will proceed to be. Because when you lack empathy, it's just so easy to be one. I know some of you might start to fear speaking at all anymore. I mean, what's the point, right? When worrying if every single thing you say might deter people and render you unlikable. But that's not the point of this. Some people believe that actions speak louder than words, but a lot of the time words are responsible for influencing actions from others. Whether or not those actions are benevolent can be up to you. Think about what you're gonna say. Speak responsibly. Viewers, discretion is advised. Hello everyone, this video has been brought to you by Crunchyroll.
So that was our video on discretion. And I purposely chose to use that video even though it had a lot of questionable language for children to use. It is sort of like logically explained why at the end of that video. It's here we are among family, right? My philosophy might be different than yours, but we speak freely in the home. This lesson is about how we speak outside of the home. And so the principles that we use are different from how we relate to one another. My children don't curse out in public or say bad words or use foul language, but in the home, they're allowed to do what they choose to do. Your philosophy might be different. In Earth School, we teach the things that you did not learn in school. And to police expression in that kind of way is not something that is in alignment with our philosophy. So I'll just say that. However, when we're speaking outside of the family and outside of the home, the principle is very much different. And so that brings me to the beginning of our actual lesson here, which is the first principle that we would utilize is say no. No is a complete sentence. That was very resonant with one of the students yesterday, and you saw it in the chat. A full-bodied no, right? Complete sentence, no. Say no. And this could mean, like in our lesson for kicking rocks, telling somebody that something does not resonate with you. It could mean cutting a toxic cord. It could also mean trusting your intuition when it tells you to not do something, and rejecting an invitation because you know within yourself that it doesn't serve your highest purpose. These are all good examples of why we would say no. Principle number 2, less is more. Convey only the necessary information. Omit the details. That means if somebody asks you, I'll give you an example. It depends on even who is asking for this example, but where do you live? Actually, I'll give you an even better example. I got on a phone call, which I inevitably kicked myself because there was no reason for me to be on that call. But you live and you learn, and I chose to actually not kick myself, but to just literally learn from the experience. But on the phone call, the beginning of the call went like this. First time we're ever speaking. Are you outside? Yes. Are you at the beach? It was obvious I was at the beach. Yes. Is that a lighthouse? There was a lighthouse in the background. Yes. That was the conversation. I didn't disclose where I am. I didn't disclose why I'm here. I didn't disclose what I'm doing here. There's no reason for it. I don't know that person. These are things we habitually do. We have conversation. It's called small talk. But big thinkers, big dreamers, big doers, we say no to small talk. We say yes to big talk. So less is more. It's easy to be bubbly and fairy-like and share all of the things in the world about everything. But there's a time and a place for that. And the fact of the matter, beloveds, is not everything is for everyone. Not as I age and mature, like they said in the video, we learn discernment. I see now not everybody gets to have the sacred fairy energy of my divinity. Some people do, God love them, maybe not realizing it, take and suck away that energy. And then there's nothing left for the people who genuinely poured that energy into me to begin with. I mean, it's my own, right? I'm channeling it from the divine, but if we give all of our pearls to swine, then you don't have any riches left. Awareness is power. The third principle for privacy is sacred is progress over perfection. It's okay. Remember that this is continual self-improvement. Every single day we get a new opportunity to show up as a better version of ourselves. So don't kick yourself. Simply learn the lesson and move forward knowing that you've learned a very valuable lesson. So the 3 principles to live by to keep privacy sacred. No. Say no to say yes to live a life in alignment. Remove distractions. No is a complete sentence. Do not explain. Doesn't matter if someone thinks you're rude, truly. If it's someone outside of the family and they're asking you questions that are really not relevant to them, you are not required to answer. No matter what rank they hold in society. I don't care if this is a police officer. I don't care if this is the manager at a shop or a grocery store. Always be respectful. Don't create a reason for anyone to confront you in a rude or demeaning way. Be aware of your surroundings, and if someone is posing a threat to you, physically, emotionally, or otherwise, leave. Get an adult that you do trust. Call your parent. Call your sibling. Do not engage with terrorists. But if a person does confront you and starts asking you questions that don't pertain to them, omit the details as much as necessary. Improve 1% daily progress over perfection. Celebrate your failures. This one is a big one. Celebrate your failures and ponder your wins. That means whenever you mess up or you do an accident or an oopsie daisy, say, oh, okay, I forgive myself. I thank myself. I love myself. And whenever we win, whenever we do something that's good, or again, moving away from good and bad, but whenever we accomplish something that we set out to accomplish, that's our opportunity to sit back and reflect. How am I showing up today that my results are flowing easier? How am I aligning more with my purpose that the outcome is what I wanted it to be? This is our opportunity to stay calm, cool, and collected. Not our time to gloat. Not our time to brag. Inform those who it's necessary to inform of the new development, sure. But it's not something to post out on social media and get attention for. We seek respect, not attention. And have grace with yourself, because remember, you're always going to be improving. That's the point. That's part of the whole journey. And remember, not everything is for everybody. So practice these things when communicating outside of the family. This is a little poster you can put up on the wall as a reminder for all of the principles. I like this one. It's pretty to me. Privacy is sacred. The cover page is also a poster you can put up on the wall. They look good side by side. I printed on the back to save paper because I don't intend to put them on the wall. I have the originals. Those ones are on the wall. This quote is so powerful. And the quote is, "A beautiful woman who lacks discretion is like a gold ring in a pig's snout." So let's discuss, what does this quote mean? In fact, there's space for you to write on the page below. And how is it relevant to your life? And remember, don't harshly judge upon the past. Just look at the present with discernment and create a better future. So let's return back to that quote after we review the vocabulary words, which is probably good context for a lot of the things we were saying in the conversation. Look how cool this one is. I love this drawing. So our vocabulary words: peace. Peace is freedom from disturbance. It's tranquility. Notice that peace is not an environment, peace is not a person, peace is not a place, peace is not anything external of us. It doesn't matter the circumstance. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. It doesn't matter how someone else is speaking to you. It doesn't matter the mistakes that you've made. It doesn't matter the places that you have to go or the obligations you might have. Your peace is found within. Poise. Poise is balance and equilibrium. Equilibrium means that the weight of something is equal on both sides. When you lose your equilibrium, you might fall over. If you get an ear infection, it will impact your balance and how well you can walk in a straight line, because our balance is in our ears and our big toes. Poise is very much in alignment with that, because you walk with poise. A dancer might be poised. Discretion is the quality of behaving or speaking in such a way as to avoid causing offense or revealing private information. So, to practice discretion means having awareness. Oh my gosh, having awareness, which not everybody has, I'll just say. Oh my goodness. Discretion is the quality of behaving or speaking in such a way to avoid causing offense or revealing private information. So, this is why our shared importance of utilizing the word no is crucial. Because when we lack discretion, we overshare information. And when you have something that is sacred, it is needed to protect that thing, whatever that thing may be. And to use discretion means having awareness of your surroundings, of your impact on the people around you. Having discretion is crucial to being regal and exalted. And this is not for everybody. There's a lot of very normal, average people out there. I, for one, have no desire to affiliate myself with them, and I'm very okay with them leaving my life forever. And that's actually the objective. Now, discernment is the perception in the absence of judgment, with a view to obtain spiritual guidance and understanding. So, discernment is being able to look at a situation and not judge it, but instead obtain spiritual guidance and understanding. What my experience, what you just saw here a few moments ago, is a really good example. Normally, I would get very frustrated by the noise and disruption in the background, but being able to live with discernment means that I'm not going to judge it because there's no reason to. And instead, gaining spiritual guidance means laugh a little. Let things slide a little. In the present moment, there's a quote, not let things slide, but rather choose and regulate my reaction, because frustration only prevents my message from getting clearly across to you. It causes disruption within our relationships, and there's no reason for it. We could instead just choose to have grace and not judge, but rather have discernment that I'm in control of my own energy. I am responsible for how I show up for you, and that takes priority over my own personal feelings about anything, about any emotion, about anything. And that is the beautiful art of transformation rather than absorption or a reflection of some kind of disapproval of something. So I use that as a good example because judgment and discernment are very different. Very, very different. But discretion and discernment go hand in hand. Obedience is to be in accordance with. A good example is before I came out here, I had a few extra minutes, and part of me said, "Oh, I'll just go eat something really quick." But instead, I decided, no, I'm going to sit down a few minutes early and allow myself to be present and breathe before the class starts. And I even decided to start early because I was ready to go. Being obedient to God means listening and letting go of our urges for short-term pleasures because we know that there is a larger purpose outside of what it is that we're actually experiencing in this present moment. So obedience is, how do we have the present moment be something that we accept for what it is? This is now. Aham is a mantra that's very powerful to remember that this is as it is now. This is the way it is right now. This is the reality mantra. It's super powerful because it requires us to just really like pull into the moment. Okay, this is it. This is what's happening right now. This is right now. And whenever we do that, we are able to protect the privacy and its sacred state because we recognize that we can be present with precision and simply communicate effectively in alignment with that. Not some kind of fantasy world that's happening inside of our mind. And the last vocabulary word for the lesson is sacred, which means to be connected with God or the gods and dedicated to a religious purpose, and so deserving of veneration, which means respect. So sacred is godly, it's divine. A sacred union happens with God, simply put. And that's to be protected. So let's go back to this quote before we wrap up class. A beautiful woman. Hi. A beautiful woman who lacks discretion, like so many do. Dear God, give me grace and patience. Give me presence. This is as it is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A beautiful woman who lacks discretion is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. It's worthless. Now, it might be worth something, but who wants it? You know? Do you want to wear a ring that was in a pig's snout? Do you want to look at a ring that's in a pig's snout? You live and you learn. These are things that we're often not taught. You may be a young woman or a young boy, or a girl or a boy who grows up never having learned these things unless you had Earth School. But you have Earth School. So you have the opportunity, as I like to always position it, to simply put this into practice in your daily life. Privacy is sacred. Less is more. Say no. Progress over perfection. If nobody told you today, I trust that you know that I love you so very much. And I'd like to tell you that love is law. And family is business. So, make sure you get the printout if you haven't already, and utilize the art that's in it. Hang it up around your house. We will see you tomorrow, and the topic is mastering the day. That's such a good one. We have a song for tomorrow, so I look forward to sharing it.